You may have noticed, speaking of this situation in Ukraine, you may have noticed the letter Z. And here's a little story about how the letter Z became a pro-war symbol in Russia and what it means. I noticed this on day one of the invasion, that all the tanks and personnel carriers
Really?
have had the giant letter Z painted on it.
Oh.
Yeah, you said it on the show.
Yeah,
I remember.
and immediately I thought, okay, this is a way of identifying Russian forces versus Ukrainian forces so that there's no friendly fire. It's like you're not blowing up your own forces because you can't identify it. And then you start to think about, well, what kind of mark could you make quickly on your military equipment that's a simple mark and easy to identify. But there might be actually more to it. And though you don't have to, I don't know if we have an Economist subscription. Do we? Maybe. I feel like I paid for it, but it doesn't matter because you can get it via these tweets. So you can just scroll instead to the next tweet. Like it's a tweet thread. So one theory is that, and by the way, there are theories on it. No one's talked to Putin directly. One theory is that the markings on the tanks were there to distinguish Russian troops from their foes in the battlefield. That's what I had imagined. The other one is that it indicates the Kremlin's desire to take out Ukraine's president, Zelensky.
Oh.
Because you would think, okay, you can choose any letter you want to identify your troops, right?
Yeah.
It could be an A, could be an N, could be
A P.
an R for Russia.
R for Russia, yeah.
It could be anything. Now, my feeling on that is the Z is very easy to write.
Yeah. You could do it quickly.
Like a Z, if you're doing with graffiti or something.
Especially when it's like rolling past, you can just like run up to it.
With like a spray paint. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Russian forces assembled along Ukraine's borders, open source intelligence showed the letter Z painted. You could, like, they had satellite imagery. Yeah, and then, okay, so then anyway, what ended up happening, and by the way, no one knows for certain why the letter Z was selected. I'm sure there's a billion conspiracy theories, but it is absolutely identifying their equipment. But the most recent development is that Russian citizens in support of the war have started to use the letter Z as well and sort of rally around this symbol. There was a gymnast who won a medal actually against another Ukrainian gymnast and wore the letter Z in the center in support of the war. Go ahead, Mo. Mo wants to respond. Go ahead.
I just think that's a bit of a statement.
Go ahead, Mo.
No, man. What are you doing?
This week, Ivan Kuliak, a Russian gymnast, plastered a Z on his uniform when he took to the podium beside a Ukrainian competitor at the Gymnastics World Cup in Qatar. Politicians have also used it. Now, do you think this is on his own accord, or do you think there's any pressure applied there?
You couldn't apply pressure to me to do this. I would have to come to my own conclusion. Because he's really doing something, in my opinion, is kind of rude.
But he's a young man. How old is that guy? You know?
I don't know. Yeah.
Right? You got the president on the phone of your country. Right? You grew up your whole life. That guy's in power. It's difficult, Mo.
It is.
It's not that simple.
Definitely hard.
Canadian Mo doesn't have a problem not wearing the Z.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That guy's not Canadian Mo. You understand? You still go to Tim Hortons right now.
The perspective matters, yeah.
You're going to McDonald's later today after the discussion. He's not.
Yeah.
Go back to that last slide over there. What are you laughing about, Will? Russia's state propaganda machine has turned the Z into the invasion's unofficial logo. They got a hashtag. Crazy. Its defense ministry has suggested that it stands for ZA, meaning for victory. There's a lot of different speculation on why this is the selection. I have to admit, it's kind of a terrifying mark.
Z? Yeah.
Oh, like the end.
Yeah. Like
It's
World
the
War
last-
Z type.
It's the last letter. It's not the mark of Zorro. What does this say? Remember these marks. Look at this. Is this real? Can you trust this? It has 2 likes on Twitter. Probably not. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's real. Look at this. It's Z. the plain Z, Eastern Forces of the Russian Federation. Z with a box around it, Russian forces from Crimea. O is forces from Belarus. V, Marine Corps. X, Chechens. And A, Special Forces. Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe. I know. Will.
Let's just make sure that it's put out there. The
No, that's a
disclaimer.
huge disclaimer. Huge maybe on that one. Massive. Maximum maybe on that one. But what a terrifying mark. I don't like it one bit. Well, I don't like it one bit.
I'm with you.